I did not leave the ship crying. I left quietly, bag over my shoulder, sunglasses on, walking past the same pool deck I had stood on 100 times and feeling absolutely nothing. That was the moment I realized something had gone wrong. Not with the ship, with me. That is what nobody tells you before you sign up for this life. Everyone who has lived on a cruise ship for any stretch of time will tell you the same thing in private, even if they never say it on camera. It starts as a dream. It ends as something far more complicated. And the space between those two things, that is where the real story lives. Let's start with something that sounds minor, but will slowly dismantle your sanity. The internet. You are on a ship the size of a small city, surrounded by technology, and you cannot load a web page without holding your breath. Satellite connectivity at sea is a polite lie. Some mornings it works, some mornings your entire screen just sits there, spinning, mocking you. And if you work remotely, if your income depends on being reachable, on sending files, on showing up to calls looking competent and composed, you will have days where you want to throw your laptop into the ocean and never look back. I have sat in a corridor at midnight, pressed against a wall, chasing a signal like it owed me money. I have apologized to clients mid-sentence because the call dropped for the 4th time. There is a particular kind of humiliation in being a professional adult undone by Wi-Fi. And it is not just work. It is the inability to call your mother when you need to hear her voice. It is watching everyone around you laugh and drink and have the time of their lives while you are standing there disconnected in the most literal sense of that word. Then there is the room. People romanticize it. The cozy cabin, the porthole window, the neatly folded towels shaped like swans. What they do not romanticize is standing in the middle of that room with both arms stretched out and realizing you can almost touch the walls. You live in a space smaller than most walk-in closets. Every object you own has exactly one place to go. You stop buying things because there is nowhere to put them. You stop spreading out because there is no room to spread. And for a while, this feels like discipline, like freedom even. But there comes a night, usually around week 6 or 7, where the smallness of that room starts pressing against you from the inside, where you would give anything just to sit in a big, ugly, overstuffed chair in a room that belongs entirely to you. Privacy on a cruise ship is not a given. It is something you fight for, quietly, every single day. Now, here's the one that caught me completely off guard. The fatigue, not physical fatigue, that you expect. I'm talking about something deeper, a kind of emotional erosion that sets in when every single day is new. Every port is unfamiliar. Every meal is an event. Every sunset is spectacular. It sounds absurd, I know. How can too much beauty wear you down? But it does. The human brain is not built for relentless stimulation. It needs the unremarkable. It needs Tuesday. It needs a grocery run and a familiar street and a coffee shop where they already know your order. When all of that disappears and is replaced by endless wonder, something quietly breaks. You start going through the motions. You stand at the railing looking at a coastline that would make anyone else gasp, and you feel nothing. That numbness is real. It is common, and it is one of the loneliest feelings in the world because nobody around you understands why you're not smiling. And then there are the people. This is the part I think about most. On a ship, you meet someone extraordinary, maybe at dinner, maybe on a shore excursion, maybe at 2 in the morning on a deck that should have been empty. You talk for hours. You feel genuinely seen. You think, this is a person I want in my life. And then the itinerary ends. The ship docks, they get off at Barcelona, and you continue to Lisbon. And that is it. Just like that. No follow-up coffee, no next Saturday. Just a memory and a name you might search on Instagram once and then never reach out to. Because what would you even say? After enough of those goodbyes, something in you starts to hold back. You stop going as deep. You protect yourself without meaning to. And slowly, you become a little more closed than you were when you started. The money is something nobody wants to talk about honestly. So I will. The all-inclusive model feels like a promise, like someone finally handed you a life where the financial anxiety stops. And in some ways, it delivers. But here is what quietly chips away at that promise. You dock in in a city you have never seen, and there is a tour that goes somewhere extraordinary, and it costs $140. And you pay it because how could you not? You sit at a specialty restaurant because the main dining room feels heavy after 3 weeks, and you just need something different. And before you know it, you have spent $200 on dinners that were technically optional. The spa calls to you on the hard days, and there will be hard days, and you go because you are desperate for quiet and warmth and a room that smells like something other than salt air. None of these things are reckless. All of them are human, but they add up in a way that surprises you. And if you come into this life without a real budget and real discipline, the financial ease you imagined will quietly become financial stress you did not see coming. This is not a reason to stay home. It is just a reason to go in with your eyes open. And that brings me to everything I want to leave you with, because here is what this life gave me that I did not expect. It showed me exactly who I am when everything comfortable is stripped away, when the room is small and the signal is gone and the goodbyes keep coming and the beauty stops feeling like beauty. What is left is just you, unfiltered, honest, real. And there is something almost sacred about that. Most people spend their whole lives surrounded by enough comfort and routine to never have to meet themselves that clearly. This life takes that option away. And as hard as some of those moments were, I wouldn't trade a single one of them. Not the silent corridor at midnight, not the goodbyes at Barcelona, not even the nights when the walls of that tiny cabin felt like they were closing in. Because all of it, every uncomfortable, unscripted, unglamorous piece of it was mine, and it made me more myself than I have ever been. That is the dark side nobody talks about, and somehow it's also the best part. If this kind of honesty is what you've been looking for, the real conversations, the unfiltered version of life at sea, then you are exactly where you should be. Subscribe to Cruise Navigator and leave a comment below. Tell me what hit you hardest in this video, or share your own story if you've lived any part of this life. I want to hear it, all of it. I'll see you in the next one.